What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, taking a look and doing a complete guide for Rokket Raidraptor. I haven't played this in a while, and someone in the comment section, I don't think I'll be able to find it, but told me about this like Submorg extender that was really good in Raidraptor. So I was like, I'll take any excuse to play this deck because Raidraptors is like my original deck. I loved it so much. I had like the Zexal variant, and it was funny. Like I had a video a long time ago where I took on 3 people and they couldn't beat me because of my Raidraptor board. It was wild. I think it's still on my YouTube channel. But anyways, I'm gonna do gameplay first, and then I'm gonna do a deck profile, and I'm gonna do combos, and I'm gonna try to timestamp them as well. So I think the mark of any good like combo deck is the ability to play through some hand traps and play around Dark Ruler no more too, which this deck can do all of those things. Now, of course, this is not a tier 0 meta threat, but it does some pretty cool stuff actually, all things considered. I have now brought in a Rokket caliber, so you'll see like how different my list is from the last time if you saw my last videos. Because it's a tuner, which is kind of cool actually, but also it's a free special summon to a Dark Link. I only have Dark Links on the deck, so it could possibly just be an extender if you hard open it, which just makes this deck a little bit better. Boots can go ahead. Then I can go into Dark Rebellion. So a couple of hand traps. I just ate them. I didn't even use my Borload Savage. There goes Dark Ruler. On resolution, go into Requiem for 3 monster negates. Plus, I still have Fog Blade. So through, Ash, Effect Veiler, Dark Ruler no more. I still had 4 interruptions, which can't complain too much about for a casual deck. That's pretty much as good as it's going to get, I feel like. So he's got, this time he has Gamma, Ogre, and Ash. He actually lets this go on way too long. It's so wild. So I'm going to go ahead and just start comboing here. I think he has at least 1 hand trap. I didn't know it was all this. But he lets Y-Strix go through. He lets 4-Strix go through. He's just chilling. So he finally goes for Gamma. So I can't set the rank up magic spell. It's like, okay. Well, you've let me do some pretty cool stuff here. Here's this extender. So it looks pretty good here. This actually isn't the greatest end board, but I don't know. When you consider 3 monster negates and like they can be in the same chain as well, it's still pretty good. And I think, no, I was going to say it'd be cool if I had like rockets in the graveyard or something. But I can go ahead and bring those back. This can be used as like link material or something like that. But without it, like he doesn't really have the ability to do anything. At all. So I'm pretty sure I could have found lethal there. So that was pretty nice. This is against a plant deck. It's more like Rika. This hand is just super cracked. Of course, like Quick Launch is just so overpowered. There we go. I ate an Ash. Not too bad because I have a lot of extenders here. Or not a lot, but definitely have a way to play through that. Really, like what you do with Quick Launch most of the time is it just puts up Borload Savage Dragon within like 5 summons. And then you like go through your like very vulnerable combo, and then you have Crossout Designator in the deck, and you have Called by the Grave, all that kind of stuff. I'm not playing around Nibiru here. Like you can't really do it with the Raidraptor stuff, unfortunately. Like it's either you have Crossout or you go through like Borload Savage Dragon. Every other hand trap it can kind of eat, and you'll see it. I mean, you've already seen it through these replays. That it definitely does have the ability to do that. I now play Evil Swarm Nightmare. This used to be like a dragon or a Dracula monster, but I actually took it out in favor of this because I just feel like this is generally better, and the combo lines are a little different, and I'll show those in the step-by-step combos after the deck profile. Okay, this card just sets multiple monsters. Like if someone pendulum summon, yeah, you just set all of them. So it's like pretty good. I play Zeus as well, so technically you could attack and then you could have like a Zeus like for an emergency, but in this case I just kind of took it. And because like would I rather have a flip or an Omni negate? Well, I think that's pretty obvious. I could have used Rusty, but if I negate something and I bring back, like a rank 4, that would just be a pop, right? So it's like this is like kind of valuable as like it's almost like a continuous trap at this point, like a weird continuous trap. Like for that pop effect, even if you can't use the other effects to dump because I only have 2 targets in the deck. Yeah. This is against Trickstar, obviously. This isn't a meta-defining deck. Scapegoat, that's pretty hilarious. But I wanted to show this because he has Imperm and Droll. Of course, you're playing something like Called by the Grave. But like, can a deck like this play through 1 Imperm? I guess I'll have to see. Okay, so I can go ahead and Striker Dragon effect there, bring that back to my hand. It's always good, right, because you just have a Link 1 for Borreload Savage Dragon, even if you like hard open the Boot Sector launch. Exactly like this. So he's like forced to do the Imperm there, fair enough. But then I can just fully combo off. That's why the Dragon Engine is just so good. It's also dark. It's like this is a dark deck. The only non-dark card I think is Infinity. That's just about it. It's cool to go in Infinity, but not super necessary. It's not like the end of the world if you don't. You'll still have a lot of interruption. And I can go ahead and bring this out. The only thing that dark locks you early really is the Dragon Engine anyway. So like you're going to have either both of the Omni Negates. One of these replays I do. Oh, technically I did in this one, but... or in another replay I do have Infinity and Borreload Savage Dragon. That's pretty rare, obviously. But like I said, most of the time you'll have either or. It just depends on if you open like Quick Launch or any of your Rokket monsters. I can go ahead and Requiem. I can pop the field spell. He's gonna go ahead and go for Candina. I will negate. He's gonna go for Licorice. I will negate again. It's not like Appaloosa. It's like a way better version of Appaloosa. He's gonna go for Pot of Desires. Draw into some random Trickstar card, an Ash, and a Scapegoat. Yeah, probably not gonna get it done. Okay, I'm playing Virtual World. Free special summon out with the Dinotherium. I can normal summon a Tracer, go into Striker Dragon, and this is actually like a super good hand. Like if you see multiple Rockets, it's kind of good because I can go ahead and just special summon out there, and I have like just four bodies. Borreload Savage Dragon, I do not think that was under 5 summons, unfortunately, but at least I'm protected from other hand traps if he was gonna like hold them. Okay, Pain Lanius comes out. Turn that into Y-Strix. Bring something out, which is Mimicry, which is just so crazy because this search is an extender and this is also an extender. You could also normal summon this. Like, there's not a lot of normal summons in the deck, so it's not horrible to draw it for sure. It's not like a Garnet. You have other targets. Like, you can bring up Raider's Wing too. Yeah, like I said, this is out. Like, I don't use this anymore. I would have set the other rank up magic spell and then gone through, and then I would have extra 4 extenders, and then that would be Evil Swarm, and then I could have, like, held this, or, like, if I top decked it, would have been really good, because then I could have gone into Infinity, and I'm not wasting, like, a rank up magic card. But I'll pop that, and, yeah, if he tries to go for anything here, I have all these negates for it. Just need to make sure it didn't have, like, Dark Ruler no more or something. He's going to go ahead and banish it. That's fine. Because as long as his Chuchi isn't online, like, basically, the duel's over. If he just keeps trying to activate, you know, Virtual World cards, which he didn't have any in his hand, but, yeah, this card's just super nuts. It's such an amazing card. Played a lot of Zombie tonight for some reason. Don't really know why. The thing is, going second, obviously, it's just not a very good deck, but you do have going second cards because you're playing Crossout. Probably open like 1 statistically. Like there's a fairly good chance. In this case, I opened 2, which is really nice. But yeah, we'll see what he ends up doing here. Not much because I did have a pretty good hand. The artwork for this card, by the way, Red Eye Zombie Dragon Lord, super dope. That's an awesome looking card. But yeah, these two cards work really well together. Like Dinotherium is just such a good level 4. Because it's either a free special summon or it's a normal summon. Like, it doesn't have those restrictions. Like, some cards that only special summon have these, like, oh, it cannot be normal summons. Like, nah, Dinotherium is just literally free. I can go ahead and bring out Mimicry. And this is just, like, the basic line to go through. Nothing too crazy. You know, I can go for Infinity here. He brought this back in attack position. Oopsie doopsie. You know, Soul Shave is, like, really important to know. So, like... It's like, how did that trigger? Well, it first special summons out the XYZ monster, so you have to keep that in mind. So yes, it does trigger, you know, a Rusty Bardesian. Yes, it does trigger Samorg, which is pretty cool to know. I can go ahead and pop that, and then I can get over. So I have an Omni Negate, I have the rank up magic, and then I have Fog Blade again. Dark Ruler again, so doesn't really do anything. Force 2, because I have the Omni Negate. I should have done this really probably on Resolution. That's fine. But, you know, another Dark Ruler no more. It's not a once per turn, which I thought was kind of funny. But I still have Fog Blade, even after all of that. So, like, 1 interruption is probably going to be enough. I don't really know what he was trying to go for here, but I was pretty much just waiting for Access Code Talker. It wouldn't be that big. He wouldn't really be able to get over anything important. And I would just pretty much go from there. And this would just be, like, back online. because I think access code's like 21 or something like that. It's like really small attack. He wouldn't be able to. He'd probably be able to go over like infinity. Although actually it's fog bladed, so I can't even attack. And then I would just use infinity's effect to grab it. So yeah, that was pretty nice to be able to fight through all that. Normally like Dark Ruler can just like kill a combo deck. Like they may have better end boards, but at least like mine protects myself. If you have double quick launch, like your opponent might as well just like scoop. Like obviously not like for real, but yeah, you're gonna have such a crazy just end board. Your opponent's gonna have to go through so much interaction, even if they have something like Dark Ruler. Now, like Super Poly kills this deck, which is just stupid. I hate that card, and I hope it gets banned forever. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. It really has your opponent on like have like a really like 2 really good outs, and if your opponent does, then it's like okay, well, fair enough. I lost. And Soul Shave, and here we go. This is like double. Isn't that wild? So a lot of interruption here. Double Omni. Who would have thought to see the day that Raidraptors would do something like this? But yeah, I didn't even need to use the effect of the Strangle Lanius, which is pretty funny. He does go for Cosmic there on the rank up. That's fine. I will just go ahead and go into the Requiem a little early. Cool thing is this pop is still online. I negate something. I bring back 4 Strix. That triggers this. So I can just summon this to a middle zone, and then, you know, during the next turn, if I do, like I could also just like hard make another XYZ and have another zone to pop. It actually becomes quite important. I think in the combos, I mess that up, and I'll point that out too. But in this case, like if you have to go into it early, you always want to go to the middle zone. Okay, I will go ahead and negate Unizombie there, and I do not want all my monsters destroyed, of course. And he goes ahead and surrenders. And this is the last one. We'll go into the deck profile, and then I will explain everything. Sharanui, I think that's what it's called. Solitaire, okay. Zombies doing stuff. I have a Forbidden Droplets. Oh, I think this was like, it's not even really a replay. It's just, again, an advertisement for how overpowered Quick Launch is as a card. Can't believe it still exists. Because it just does so much. It does so much, especially combined with Forbidden Droplets. He messes up big time here. I don't even know. Like, don't... Okay, you have Super Poly. It's like, don't you think that that's probably, like, you don't want to... If you whiff, it's horrible for you. Even if you, like, if you allure with, like, 2 cards in your hand, it's almost never good anyways. Because you're going to draw into something like, oh, I wish I could keep that. And then you have to banish it. But double Quick Launch into Forbidden Droplets to get rid of Baylor Jock in his Jacko Bolin? Okay. So I negate those, and then I just have a full hand. Like, first of all, I have 2 monsters coming from the deck because that's not overpowered. 2 of those are special summoning themselves. I can normal summon Dinotherium. I can normal summon Recharger to trigger Kage. Probably go into a Borreload Savage Drag before I do anything. So I think that replay is like a really good advertisement for like the ceiling of what this deck can do. Like, I guess even on like a going second basis there. Okay, we'll go ahead and take a look. It is wild, right? Like, this is just if you ever watch my channel, you know I have the like wackiest, weirdest deck profiles. I do things like very differently. Whenever I play these like numbered or leveled decks, it's never about like, oh, I got to stick with the archetype. It's about like every possible 4 extender possible. And I usually play them at 1 because they have a hard once per turn. And when you play decks like this, all you need is extenders. And there's like so many 4s at this point. Like, you're not forced to play multiple of the same card because they essentially do the same thing, which is special summon themselves, you know, from the hand. All right. So these are my crossout targets: Nibiru, Ash, Imperm, double Forbidden Droplets, because this card's just good, and you kind of saw why. Like, I kind of want to see this card low key. It's technically a crossout target as well. You could like drop one and put Ghost Ogre there or something. That's also fair, but it won me that one duel, so it's kind of convincing to just kind of keep this. Droll and Lockbird kind of kills the deck. Imperm or Effect Veiler, pretty straightforward. You want to play 3 parallel because you want to see it, and also if you draw 2, you don't want it to be dead. Like, some people try to play 2, and I don't know. I never want to be the reason I can't use a card. It would just kind of suck. Even if it is statistically like a really small chance, like, it's still possible. So this is like a good card to have at 3. And like I just talked about, like, oh, you have so many extenders, you don't need to play multiples. But if you normal summon this card and you have another in your hand, it's also just a free special summon. So it's definitely worth it. And a deck that doesn't really use normal summons like at all. Well, there is Tribute Lanius. It's a pretty good one because it gets to send Lanius, or you can go ahead and send the Raider's Wing. It just depends. Otherwise, it's not a big deal. Of course, there's not like a super high chance you're going to see the same card twice. Just if you do, it's not terrible, unless you saw Tribute Lanius in your hand, like something that extreme, you know? And in which case, that's probably fine anyways. You just wouldn't be able to go off like as hard. I do have the Rokket lineup here. This is Caliber. It's a tuner for Tracer. No need to explain there. And Recharger. You do want to have 3 different ones, mainly because like this has to summon from deck. And you have to like summon a different name with Tracer. So it just kind of makes sense to do this. To do it this way. Okay. Strangle Lanius is like a really good one that you like extender that you want to search out later, because hopefully you can go into infinity before you grab this card. 3 Dinotherium, kind of the same principle, because you can normal summon and special summon if they're both in your hand. So that works out pretty well. Mimicry is the good one of just send or special summon. Sometimes it's okay to like normal. That's what makes this card, you know, pretty good, and this card pretty good. Because one normal summon, if you go into a 4, you know, with 4 Strix and you use it after you like using this normal summon Mimicry plus 1 other extender, which could be this, it's full combo. And Kage, I always say Kage Toke. Tage Toke. I don't know how to say this, but it's a decent one of extender, because I used to have like the Photon Thrasher, and it was really like these 2 cards just like vehemently opposed each other. So like this is just so much better now, because you can just always trigger it. You can normal summon everything to make sure that this goes through. You know, Singing Lanius and Raider's Wing, all these 1-ofs that are super searchable. Silent Boots is like, you can just like normal summon it, because sometimes you can go full combo, like when you have quick launch and stuff, and you just normal summon it and use it as Rusty Bardige, you know, material. It works out pretty well. You know, Pain Lanius, another one of those cards. Soul Shape Force is the 1-of there, going along with the other rank up, which is, you know, rank up Magic Force. 2 is like kind of small, and it's like you almost wish you could play another one, but there's really no space for it. And you kind of do theoretically with Raider's Knight going into, you know, Arc Rebellion. It's essentially the same thing as having an extra copy of this, so it kind of feels worth it. Called by the Grave, quick launch at 3. You know, you also have Crossout Designator, so as many chances as possible to, you know, help extend your combos. Excuse me, jeez. Boots Hector launch, a, you know, Shade Brigadine. A Phantom Knight's Fogblade is just that really good extender, not extender, like disruption. If your opponent Dark Rulers you just have like an extra piece of interaction, which could be really important. Extra deck, Borload Savage Dragon. You know, Zeus is pretty decent at getting a lot of stuff out. Like there's been times where I wish I had it, where I'd gone into Raider's Knight, tried to use the effect. Maybe battle phase, you can go over something else, and then you can go into Zeus. And sometimes you haven't even normal summoned yet. This doesn't lock you into anything, which is really crazy. Like you would think Raider's Knight would lock you. And it's like Dark XYZs, no restrictions. So that's pretty cool. Okay, Ultimate Falcon, kind of like that one random target that's pretty decent with this card. If your like opponent Nibiru's you every once in a while, like you'll have enough in your graveyard and just go into it, so at least you have a body on board. But really, this would probably be taken out for something else. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's another target, even though this is a pretty good card. Cyber Dragon Infinity, Dark Requiem XYZ Dragon, Arc Rebellion XYZ, Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon. Talked about Raider's Knight, Evil Storm Nightmare. Kind of talked about 2 of the 4 Strix. You absolutely have to have 2. Unicorn you could also take out. I used to play IP Masquerena, but there really was never a great target. It was only like very niche situations, but it is a dark, and you can like, it's come up before. It's not the worst extra deck spot. Like this, of the dark links, this is like probably the best. Rusty Bardige, 1 Y-Strix, and then the 1 Striker Dragon. Red Reboot, because like if your opponent just puts up like there can be only one, you're just like, okay, you just lose, so you might as well like hopefully have a chance. And if you also play Crossout Designator, no, you wouldn't be able to. Never mind, I'm talking a bunch of gibberish. Yeah, hopefully you draw Red Reboot. An extra copy Forbidden Droplets. Sometimes your opponents Not really playing a hand trap deck, so you can just like side these out, and I think this is probably like best going second card like in the deck. 3 Dark World no more. You don't really care. Like you can just like pop your opponent's board and like attack over it and just like set up heavy control. Harpy's Feather Duster, Lightning Storm for those back row decks. I do have one Dimension Shifter because it's like a pretty popular card. You know, if you're playing Fluundereeze or Exo Sister, they're gonna have this. So you might as well like be prepared the best you can. A couple of Nibiru. Like I already have one in the main deck, so. And then 3 Kaiju. This is good against Marincess, like specifically. I feel like that's kind of valid. There's a few other things, right? Sky Striker is also super good. All right, now I will go ahead and go into the combos. So I'm just going to slow these down a little bit. This may seem like a really janky hand, and these are like literally randomly generated ones that I kind of just like, okay, what would happen if I had this hand? So you're protected on some level, right? Or like on a good level. Everything is online. So all you have to do is just like normal summon Tribute Lanius, so it just sends a Raidraptor to the graveyard. That can be Mimicry, so it can get a free extender, which is going to be Pain Lanius. And because you have Parallel Exceed, like you're just set up for success, like for sure. Like you can just do so much with it. It advances your game state so far. And you can turn those into a Y-Strix, which is also going to trigger Exceed. So I can bring out a Raider's Wing, another extender, because I've already, gone through my Lanius. This can help me grab the new Simorgh monster that's going to set Soul Shape Force. I have not Dark Locked myself at all. That can go ahead and freely special summon, go into Rusty, go into Dark Rebellion XYZ. This can go into Infinity. And Rusty can go ahead and, send Boots. This actually is just a free card. I can't really do... Oh, no, never mind. I do use it as an extender in Evil Swarm. But I should have summoned this to a zone that this points to. And this should be underneath it. I kind of talked about this before during the replays, but... You want to be able to have a free zone in case you like hard make a Dark XYZ, because there's plenty of easy 4s you can still go into. So like you already know like you're going to want to summon this to a zone, right? Because you're going to go into Rank Up Magic to pop it with Requiem. That's why you want this in the middle, because it doesn't really have a use taking up this zone. And you don't want to put it over here either. You don't want to put Nightmare over here in case of playing into like the Relinquish Anima or whatever it is called. Because that would suck. So if you had it like this way, you would still leave this zone open, and you'd probably be pretty good to go. Or if your opponent Dark Ruler no mores you, right? You can still go into, if you had these zoned correctly, you could go your Dark Ruler no more, okay, resolve, rank up Magic Force, bring this into the zone still, and then when you negate something, you can bring back, one of the rank 4s in the graveyard, like the 4-Strix, and that would still be able to pop, Rusty Bardige. It's like a small difference, but it does make a big one. Like it could definitely be the difference between you winning and losing. So you get a free special summon there, and this is pretty much the same without like kind of the crazy extender like Parallel. You can just go early into Y-Strix, go into a Raider's Wing. This really kind of plays out the exact same way. But you have like one less material, so you can kind of see what you can do. Although you do have Shade Brigandine here. So you actually do just have that final extender. So it's going to end on the exact same board, which is pretty nice. Boot Sector Launch. I did have this hard open in my hand. So normally Boot Sector Launch kind of sucks. It's kind of bricky, but in this case it was just a free extender, which is kind of nice. I can go into Strangle, bring out this, go into an Eel Swarm. So Fog Blade, kind of the same difference. So this is kind of just laying in my hand. But if I go into a thing again, and I messed up the zones once again, like this should have been here, like and vice versa, for those better zone placements. This is with Quick Launch, so of course you get to do some really wacky stuff. I hard open Boot Sector, but I talked about in the gameplay, like you still want to go through Striker because you want to have a Link 1 in the graveyard for when you go into Borreload Savage Dragon. Being Darklock is just not a big deal. Like this is playing under Nibiru, which is pretty nice. So those are 2. Again, seeing those 2 in my hand, not a bad thing. So playing 3 of those is like a really good idea. You're probably never going to open all 3 of them. That would just be like really a statistical anomaly. Okay, Banish Mimicry, special summon the Singing Lanius. Go for the Raider's Wing. Rusty can go ahead and send Boots. And I just kind of have it all right. So I have a Savage Dragon, I have a Pop. you know, with the rank up magic, which is going to turn into 3 monster negates with the Omni, with the Fog Blade. Pretty nice stuff. And this is the last one. Again, seeing parallel. Okay, during the deck profile, I talked about this isn't the worst normal summon. I talked about this exact same situation. And plus with the parallel, it's like, oh yeah, you're just probably winning the duel for sure. Force Ricks, which I already sent something that extends for me. And I should not have actually added this because, well, it's follow-up. That's fine. Like, I have full combo anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I did use this, like, earlier on, right? Then I can go into, you know, Rebellion, Phantom, Send. I still get to bring everything out. It's fine. I can go into Evil Swarm. Probably, actually, I could have kept one of those and just used the effect to bring something out. That way I had 2 cards for follow-up. Messing up the zones is like a professional job of mine, apparently, in making these replays. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to go over. Let me know what you guys think about this deck in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.